So I'm aware of how common it is that somebody infringes on your rights to a degree that you could legally take their life. Okay, I'm also aware of, the charges that you face when something like that happens. Okay, it's typical that law enforcement does not do its job properly, whether they're just incompetent or they're being malicious towards you, and they actually arrest you instead of just letting you go based on, lack of evidence and, your statement and all this stuff. So usually they're going to arrest you. You're going to be, they're going to prosecute. And because, they don't face repercussions when they don't face effective repercussions if they get it wrong. So they just throw out these prosecutions. So they're probably going to prosecute you for murder when you were defending yourself. Okay? So, look, I'm aware of how people's rights get infringed, especially by Democrats. Okay, I'm aware that people don't allow you to stand your ground, and they try to, take territory. They try to fight you. They riot. I understand. They take away your freedom of speech. Okay, they try to fight people. They're entirely they're terrible people. They speak to people in a manner that they don't allow people to speak back to them at. You know what I mean? They go out screaming curse words and, all these obscene statements and stuff like that, outrageous accusations, calling people Nazis and fascists and all this stuff. And if somebody says something like that back to them, then they start to fight. They do it on purpose a lot of the times. Okay, they're trying to provoke you. Okay, they try to provoke you to speak to them the same way that they're speaking to you, because they're going to use it as an excuse to fight you, and they feel like they're going to get away with it and stuff. And okay, I understand how crazy this stuff gets and how it escalates to the point to where you are justified in taking their life. Like, they are violating your rights. Okay, they have attacked you. Your life is in danger. Okay, and, it's come to that point. And I'm aware of how common that is and how crazy these people are and how they just do this kind of stuff. But just understand that you could be put in a position to where you're facing charges that, I'm sure the result of a guilty conviction on these charges. So like, in an ideal world, somebody violates your rights like that, yes, you should be able to kill them. All right? That is the most effective thing to do, is to protect yourself and others, to take care of this stuff. Okay? They're too dangerous. Okay? It's not a position to where you can just try to, convince them to stop. Okay? They are in active danger. They're actively infringing on your rights. I understand that in an ideal world, we would be able to kill these people. Okay, and I know how common it is. But you just have to understand that there's a lot of corruption in the government, law enforcement, the judicial system, all that stuff, okay? You can't always fight for your rights, okay? We do face oppression. And you would wind up fighting, possibly like the entire government, you know what I mean? Like, it just, I know, okay, I get it. I'm just saying you can't always fight, okay? It's not, I understand rights get violated and stuff. I understand how menacing and violent these people are, in these different positions, whether it's just in your community or if it's someone in government or whatever. But it's just not safe to fight all these battles. Okay, you have to be wise. So, I get it. Okay, I know they make threats. Okay, I know they attack you. I know they try to run you out of places and all this stuff, but the charges that you face for self-defense, okay, you can't always, it's not wise to always defend yourself. All right. Like, it's not wise to always stand your ground. I know you should be able to. Okay, I know it's your right, but you just have to understand the situation. Okay, I'm going to support you. If you stand your ground and stuff, somebody's violating your rights, all this stuff, I'm going to support you. But you should understand that I'm a rarity. And hopefully that changes, but that's just how it is. So just know that you could be facing false accusations. You could be facing wrongful prosecutions. You could be facing corruption and, wind up basically taking on the entire government. So, so I know you want to stand up for your rights. I know you want to fight. Okay, somebody, violates your rights like that and puts you in a position of having to defend yourself and others. I know that you want to fight because it is the most efficient means, of protecting the law and, but just understand that a lot of these people are trying to, provoke you. Okay, they're trying to get you in a position to where you're facing charges. It's political warfare. So, you can't always stand up for your rights. So you just have to be wise about how you combat these people. Okay. Try to convince these people to be good people. Okay. Understand that they are not content with their lives. Okay. They are not experiencing happiness. They have nothing over you. They have not won anything. Okay. You are the winner. Okay. You experience love. You love yourself at least. And I love you. You're not wasting your life. Okay. So, I'm aware of the rhetoric that they use towards people. And if you use the same rhetoric towards them, even though they actually represent that rhetoric, they'll fight you and violate your rights and, try to prosecute you and all this stuff. Okay, I understand what's happening. They yell curse words at you. If you say curse words back, all of a sudden they're fighting you and, but you weren't allowed to fight them. And I get it. Okay, I know. Okay, these people, they violate your rights. They deserve to die. Okay, but just understand the situation you're in. And you can't always, defend your rights in the most, the way you're supposed to be able to. You get all these false witnesses and stuff, and it's disturbing. Okay, it could be hundreds of false witnesses. Okay, you know what I mean? It's really disturbing. But yeah, what I'm saying is I understand that there are a lot of people that deserve to die for the way that they violate people's rights. Okay, for the crimes that they commit. But just understand the situation that you're in and be wise about the way that you defend yourself. Okay, I'm talking about, just to make it clear for, as clear as possible for all these wicked people that make false accusations, I'm talking about legal self-defense. Okay? I'm just recognizing that even though it's legal, even though it is, the most efficient means of protecting the world, just be wise. Okay, I understand how many people deserve, to be fought. But just understand what's going on in the world, the corruption, the position that they may be trying to put you in. And, I understand what's going on. You just have to combat these people wisely. Okay, whatever position this person may be in.